So right out of the gate, I want to hit you with probably potentially maybe the strongest question of the entire Moxie Talk or interview.
Mm,
How did growing up in a cult make you who you are today in terms of a
mm,
leader or in any other
mm,
variety or aspect of your life? How did it change you, I guess you should say?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is a very loaded question and a lot to dig into. But I think what I would say is that it has made me an extremely resilient person.
Hmm.
And it really has made me question everything in my life. And a lot of that was deconstructing and dealing with a lot of the trauma that I went through
Hmm.
growing up in a Christian cult. So, it taught me to learn to trust myself, to
Hmm.
connect with myself, because growing up in that environment, I was taught that there was nothing good inside of me and that I shouldn't trust my mind or my heart, only rely on the religion and its teachings. And so I was so isolated
Hmm.
and I was indoctrinated and I suffered for years with depression and I was blamed a lot. So having to, being born in that situation and through that hardship, I had to learn to become my own hero and become resilient. I had to become my own rescue for,
Yeah,
very similar to that sentiment.
there was no lifeboat coming to save you.
No, there was none.
Yeah.
Not at all. And there were a lot of dark times and it for me, like it took me to the point of being very suicidal and
Mhm.
nearly committing suicide, of just barely having any strength left in my spirit, but making that decision, I don't know what's going to happen
Mhm.
with my life, but I am going to claim my autonomy and do what is best for me. I don't know what lies ahead, but there
Sure.
has to be a better life than this. I think I can do this. I don't know how, but I think I can. And that's kind of the sentiment of what I felt when I had to make that internal decision to move forward and be resilient.
Well, let me ask you this for the audience that will or may watch this that doesn't know your background, and you don't have to name
Hmm.
names. You're welcome to, obviously, if you choose to. But
Hmm.
were the people that you were involved in with this, were they direct family members? Were you adopted? Was this a situation where you were kind of left at the doorstep, or was this an expectation of you, and you really didn't? It sounds like you didn't have any choice in the matter. But I want you to maybe
Yes.
clarify
Yeah. So I was born into a cult. My family or my parents, they were heavily involved in it. And so I was born into it. And the cult I grew up in is called the IFB. And for people who are not familiar, that stands for Independent Fundamental Baptist.
that. Hmm.
And I think you had Eric from the Preacher Boys
Yes.
podcast on the show. He does a great job. I was on his show this year, but he does a great job exposing the abuse that happens in the IFB cult. And just I know I don't have time to talk about the history of it, but all I'm going to say is this group started as a reaction to modernism in the 20s, and it just had this very stuck up attitude of we are not going to be around anyone who disagrees with us, even other Christians who might differ on beliefs. We're going to isolate from society, have our own little churches. We're going to run it however we want. No higher organization can hold us accountable for anything. As
Hmm.
we are the leaders in this place. No one can tell us what to do. And so in order for cults to survive, members need to have children. Like in these cults, like it is highly encouraged to
Sure.
have children. Like I knew families, they had 10 children
Hmm.
in the cult that I grew up in. And it was just crazy to me. And that's the thing with my family, is that my parents struggled to have children. It took them 6 to 7 years to
Hmm.
become pregnant. So when they did finally have three boys, they saw that as like God answering their prayers. So that made
Hmm.
them very dedicated to really dedicate our lives to their religion, obviously without any of our consent. It was like there was no choice in that matter. So I was homeschooled my entire life for the
Mhm.
purpose of indoctrination, and my social life was in this cult, really, and like a homeschool group and a 4-H club, but it was all Christianity. Every environment, this version of Christianity had an influence on.